Once again, you are welcome to this lesson. I'm in the person of Efujimado. In this lesson, we are going to know how to ascertain the quality of product on 1688. I have launched my 1688 mobile app. So I would like to select among the list of products in order to ascertain its quality. So without much ado, I would like to ascertain the quality of this solar light. So I click on it and I wait for it to open. In this store, I would like to translate what is here to see what is here. So this, they say home solar user, courtyard, and so on and so forth. So the first and foremost thing when you come to a store you need to look out for is similar product. When you scroll down to the very bottom, you see where we have other solar lights with different prices and what have you. When you are in a store looking for the quality of a product, one of the first things you need to look out for is similar product. Assuming without admitting you come to this very section in order to search for similar product within the same niche, and you find out that you see solar panel, you see like ladies bags, you see shoes, please, with all due respect, this supplier will not, a supplier like that will not be reliable. So in this case, for instance, you see that this supplier is within the same niche. He deals in solar light and nothing more, nothing less, just as compared to the first one we've seen here and what have you. So you see a slide and you see the certificate. It is his business certificate and what have you. The next thing you should also look out for or consider in looking out for is number of years. Different trainers claim that if a supplier number of years in business is 1 year or 2 years, don't purchase goods from such supplier. In my opinion and experience, it is never true. Don't use number of years to determine the quality of a product. Let me explain. And this is where you check the number of years, where you see the two. So I translate and you see number of years. I believe you can see it clearly. Now, the next thing we will also consider is number of percentage of people that have returned in purchasing goods from this supplier, where you get it from this section where you have the 12.3%. That is the return rate. Return rate is the number of buyers in percentage who have come back to purchase product from a supplier. In this regards, this means that out of 100% of buyers who purchase goods from this supplier, 12.3% of them have come back to purchase goods from this supplier. So when I translate, you see recycle rate. In other words, return rate. The next thing you should also consider is in the past 90 days, how many buyers have come back to purchase goods, or how many buyers bought goods from this supplier. And we get to know that from the section where you see 164. So from this store, in the past 90 days, 164 buyers bought goods from this supplier. So I translate, and you see it has been translated successfully to English for me. So that is where you look out for the number of, in the past 90 days, how many buyers bought goods from this supplier. And this is very encouraging. So this means that in just 2 years of this supplier being in business, he's improving. He's improving. But we don't only base on this thing to just determine as to whether the product of this supplier is of quality or not. So these are the next thing you should look out for. The next thing we should also look out for is cargo description response. Cargo description response, in order to know that that is the other side where you see the 1%, the 21%, and the 15%. What that section means is the rate at which the supplier responds to buyers' messages, the rate at which the supplier packages goods and transfer them or transport them from his or her warehouse to your the buyer's shipping company's warehouse. That is one thing. Or the rate at which um a supplier ships goods from his or her warehouse to your location. So that is, when you come to this side, you translate it and you see whatever is there. The next, the 21% is the response, then the 15% is the ship. That is the rate at which 15%, that's the rate at which the supplier transport goods from his or her warehouse to your shipping company's warehouse. So in this regard, why I say that we don't, in my opinion and experience, we don't use number of years like 1 year, 2 years to determine the quality of product a supplier produces. So when you see this thing, is very encouraging. This supplier is really doing well. So you see that from the return rate, the in the past 90 days, he has been doing well. The next thing we should also look out is evaluation, review. In other words, comments from people who have bought items from this supplier. What actually are they saying? So in order to look out for that, you see where we have 4.4 stars. That is where you see the review. So I translate what is here and we see review there. So you see by it where we have the 4.4, the stars, the number of stars indicating, we see some Chinese writings there with an arrow pointing to the right. I click at that part to go and read the comments. I wait for it to load. This is good. Now, the response is divided into two. When you come to this part where I'm translating, where we have all reviews, that side means 50 plus people have purchased goods from this supplier. Then where you see the 20 plus, that side, let's translate it, is very tiny. It says there is a review of the evaluation. So the first thing when you come to this review or evaluation part, you need to look out for is username of the buyer giving the comment. And we look at it where you see the T star star 9, that is the username of the buyer. It is not written in maybe plain text for you to know the actual or the name of the buyer, but in this. So when you look at the username, so this is the username of the supplier. I believe you can see it clearly. When you scroll down also, you see where we have the A star star 1, that is another username for a different buyer. So you see where we have the next one in that order. So we see A star star 1, that is the same buyer who gave the comment previously. Now, why should we consider buyer's username giving comments? Sometimes whenever you see the same username, it either means that the supplier has different bank accounts or different 1688 account, and he has bought items in his own store and given nice review about himself. Regardless of that, how do we ascertain that this review is of good quality or is okay. So you just look at it. So you realize that the first comment, when you translate this whole thing into English and you read it carefully, you realize that this buyer is satisfied with the product he has purchased from this supplier. The next user, to let's look at his comment. So I translate the comment. Let me just translate his comment so that we see. He is saying that good quality is good. Customer service attitude is also very good. Logistics is also very fast. So what this buyer is trying to mean here is this supplier that he has purchased from, he or she has purchased from, is very reliable. The rate at which he or she, the supplier, responds to messages is very good. The rate at which the supplier transport goods to you is very fast. So we come down also, then we come and translate the another buyer who just gave 1 star and why this supplier gave 1 star. Let's read his or her comment and see. So we translate it. It said, take a day to electricity to light 2 or 3 hours, no electricity. What this buyer tried to mean here is in his or her location, sometimes 3 hours or whatever, or a day, no electricity. But with the solar light, he gets electricity and what have you. But the question is, why has this supplier given just 1 star? How is the star given? The star is given, you need to give 5 star to like shipping, that's the transporting of goods from the supplier's warehouse to your shipping company's warehouse, like 5 star. The response rate of the supplier, that one you have to give it a 5 star. Like the attitudinal of this the supplier too, you have to give it 5 star. It could be that the product is good, but maybe the supplier was busy. And maybe in responding to his message, he has not been a bit fast. So maybe this buyer just reduced the star rate and what have you. So that is why. So we keep looking out for the other comment from various how do you call it, buyers. When you look here also, let me translate. It says shipping speed is very fast. Service attitude is very good. Let me remind you, you realize that this buyer who has a star, I just read his comment one, has previously given a comment here. Good. So why this buyer will also come and give the same comment here? This supplier has come back, sorry, this buyer has come back to give comment here with pictures of the goods he has purchased from this supplier. So beneath his comment, you realize that he has shown pictures, real pictures of the products that he has bought from this supplier. So you look at it carefully. You get it? So you don't say this buyer gave previous comment and has come back. So you realize that he just gave the previous comment just with words, and in his second comment also he brought pictures, real pictures of the items, to tell you that what he has bought, he is very satisfied with what he has bought, and he's showing you real pictures of them. The next buyer who has T star star 1, let's read his comment. So I translate. The quality is good at a good job. Wow. This implies that this supplier, he is satisfied with the supplier's product, and he has added pictures of the product that he has bought from the supplier. So we can go on and go on. You see, let's look at this supplier. Let's read his comment also, and we see, used for a while, the brightness is very good. This is also from another buyer who bought the solar panel from this supplier. and he's sharing with us or with you and I pictures of the solar panel that he has bought, and he is saying that the brightness is very good. This tells you that the supplier is good and has quality products. So you can scroll down again to go and read other comments, and you see that different buyers are giving comments and sharing pictures of the product they bought from this particular supplier. So this alone should tell you that the supplier has reliable and quality product, so that if you are purchasing these products from this supplier, you won't be scared that you are going to have inferior products. So you can scroll down, so you look at the pictures and all what have you. You see them. Let's read this buyer's comment. Let's translate it and see what he's also saying. Logistics fast, mass easy to install, convenience to work fine, is safe satisfied. So you see, sometimes translating directly from Chinese to English, the translation or the flow doesn't come that way. But this self-explanatory, or is something that you and I can understand. This also implies that the buyer is satisfied with the supplier's products. So we can still go on, and you see various comments from various buyers sharing with us pictures of products that they've purchased from this supplier. Let's read this comment also and see what this buyer is also saying. Let's just translate. I wait for it to translate successfully. After sales service attitude is not good. Light cannot see. Whoa, this buyer is not satisfied with the supplier's product. This could maybe be as factory defect, or maybe during the transportation there might have been some defect on the product. So you read all these comments and you see how best you can it will give you an informed decision of as to whether the product from a store is of quality or not. The next thing I also like us to look at is, if a buyer purchase items from a supplier, what quantity has the buyer purchased? So in this regard, we look for this supplier, for instance, and we see the number of products he or she has purchased from this supplier. So you see beneath here, so let's look at it. It's translating. I wait for it to translate successfully. You see quantity 19. So this is where you see the quantity a buyer has purchased a product from a supplier. I scroll down also. Then I come here where I'm translating. Then he ordered 19 pieces. This person ordered for just 4. Just 4. This person just ordered for 1. The next person ordered for just 8 at this part. So you use your high dictionary to translate. It's translating successfully. 8 quantity in that order. So folks, this is an intensive video to explain to you the quality of a product. In other words, where we have 50 plus, that section talks about it means 50 plus people have purchased goods from the supplier. So let me click there so that we go there and look at the next thing we can look in ascertaining the product. That section gives all the reviews or the comments from various suppliers, just as I've explained from the previous points. There is one thing I would like to talk to you about. Sometimes you will see a comment with ending with an exclamation mark. I'm looking for one. in case I see it, I'll use it to explain to you. But however, what those comments means is they are system generated comments. It is not the supplier who is or who has generated those comments. Rather, buyers who have already bought items from the supplier and have already given comment again. Sometimes because they know the quality of the product the supplier is giving, they don't go back to give comments, but they bought items from that supplier. So in doing that, they don't maybe give comments again. So they just buy the things and they go. So as soon as it happened that way, the system generates comments. So it means a buyer has come back to purchase an items but hasn't given comment, but the system is just generating that. We don't use that to also determine to base on and say the product is inferior. No, the product is good. That is why the buyer has returned again in purchasing item from the supplier. Let me go back to the main page of the 1688 so that we'll go and look for another product. Then we ascertain the quality of that product from how do you call it, a supplier. So I'm just scrolling down to look for any product. So let's see this how do you call it, fufu machine. So let me just translate this and I wait for it to translate. It say after sales service not good. That's just a comment. So let me just click here so that it loads into that particular store for us to ascertain it. So this is the food processing machine. In Ghana, we refer to it as the fufu machine. So I scroll down to first of all go and look at similar products. So you see when you come here, you see similar products. So it means we have our point one. So then from there we look out for return rate, where we have 16.47%, which implies out of the 100% of people who bought items from this supplier, 16.47% of them came back to purchase from this supplier. Then in the past 90 days, only 8% of them, only 8 of the buyers bought goods from this supplier. And this supplier has been in operation for barely 2 years. 2 years. And when it comes to cargo description response, you see that we have 3%, 6%, 7%. So let's see the review or comment or evaluations from various buyers. So at this part, I click here, so you could see that this supplier honestly is not having any review. So you see, when I translate, there is no review from this supplier, and this supplier has barely been in business for 2 years, and in the past 90 days only 8 buyers purchased goods from this supplier for a whole 3 months, and 8 buyers. I think this is not a reliable supplier. Probably his response to messages is bad, or shipping is bad, or probably the goods he has been giving out is not of good quality. So I'm going back again to go and look for other how do you call it, other product, so that we can see how best we can ascertain the quality of the product. I'm going to look for a blender so that we see our way forward. So I have this blender in this store. This is the Silver Crest commercial blender showing 57 RMB. So I click on it. click on it and I wait for it to open. So this supplier says that if you are buying 6 pieces, so let me just scroll down, search for this. I drag my high dictionary to come and translate this part for me, where it's translating. So you see 6 plans. It means if you are buying 6 pieces and above, they will give each for you at a cost of 61 RMB. So let's go and look for similar product. So you see that we have similar product, so it means point 1 is marked. Then let's go and look out for comments or something. So let's try to translate and see. Evaluation and co. It's not there. So evaluation is where you see the 18 peer evaluation. So you see where we have the 94.44% means 94.44% buyers came back to or gave comments to this supplier. So I click at that part, the arrow, to go and read reviews, comments given by various buyers. So we see, and you know the first and foremost thing you need to look out for from this part, that is the buyer's username. So you know that already. So let's quickly go and translate the comments and see what they are saying. Very good support. That's very good. So it means this buyer is satisfied. Let's look at the quantity this same supplier buyer bought from this supplier. He bought how many quantities? 48 quantities of the silver crest. The next user or buyer will look out for is this person. What is he also saying? We wait. He said good. With him, he bought 18 quantities. So let's translate so that we all see it together. Quantity 18. Whilst you are doing this, you need to be checking as to whether the comments are from the same buyer or from different buyers. So you check out their username and so on and so forth. So we look at the comment from the buyer with the S***4. What is he also saying? Shipping timely, very good, long-term cooperation. This buyer is satisfied with the supplier, and he says he or she wish to be in a long-term business with. And the quantity he ordered is what? 24. So we wait for it to translate. Good, quantity 24. So you just look at it. Very good. This one is in English. About 24. You look out for it. Very good. So the bottom part of it where we see T***8, he wrote his comment in English. Probably this person will be from a native English country. So he wrote his comment in English that says that good product, good customer service. They gave 5-star and what have you. And that's awesome. Let's go and click at this part and see various comments from different buyers with different usernames and all that. So in my opinion, when you are ascertaining the quality of a product, these are the salient things that you need to look out for. And these are the things that a lot of importers or newbie importers ignore, and they end up importing inferior or low quality goods. So you look at it carefully. This is an intensive video that has explained to you what you should consider before purchasing an item from a particular supplier. Whilst you watch this video and it sinks very well, I think it will give you much insight on the things you should look out for. I'm looking for another product so that I'll show you why you shouldn't order from the supplier. Let's look at it. I'm interested in this fridge which costs 290 RMB. I tap on it to go and look at the salient things if it's good to buy from this supplier. Let me scroll down. First thing, similar product, good. The supplier is in the same niche. I go and look at return rate. Out of 100%, 24.19% return to purchase goods from this supplier. In the past 90 days, only one person, only one buyer bought goods from this supplier. Just imagine. And this supplier has been in business for barely 2 years, just as you can see from here. Barely 2 years. And in the past 90 days, a whole 3 months, one buyer bought goods from this supplier. And look at um, the cargo description response, where you see the 1%, 24%, 3%. And it's something. Let's see if we can get some review. Whoa, no review. Let's come here also. Evaluation. So I click on it to see. I click on it to see what people will say. And you will understand why you should do an intensive proper sourcing. I wait for it to load. So you see, stars 0. So you see everything 0 0. So this means that a supplier of this, there is no need for you to waste your time in ordering any goods from him or her. Clearly, when you do that, you are just putting yourself in a jeopardy. The possibility by which you will import or order inferior goods from a supplier of this is very high. So a supplier of this, I'll never advise you to purchase from. So folks, this is how we do an intensive sourcing in ascertaining the quality of a product from a particular store or from a particular supplier. I'm grateful for watching this tutorial to this level, and I wish you all the best and see you in the next tutorial.